What is up? Welcome back to the Blob podcast. We've got the big fella. My dad referred to him as the beast when he was in college. James Farr in the building. James Farr, what's up, my bro?
What's going on, guys, man? Thank you guys for having me, man. I'm honored, man. You guys have been awesome, throughout my whole career. Kenny, you know what you've been to me, man. So I just appreciate you guys having me on, man. Thank you.
It's great to have you on, bro. So you guys have a lot in common, you and Kenny. Big fellas, played under Mac, the Mac era. You got that little big man kinship I feel like goes on. One thing you don't have in common, though, James Farr is a Bears fan. Kenny, big Vikings guy, so I didn't mean to make it be weird to start off.
Right off the bat, man.
I was trying to rip the Band-Aid off,
Right. You know what? We'll keep it all Musketeer talk today. That sounds good to me.
That sounds like a plan. So, James, I was interested to kind of talk to you because I kind of saw you and Ed kind of going back and forth on Twitter. You know what I mean? I saw you and Ed going back and forth on Twitter. I feel like it was like some reminiscing going on, you know what I mean, in the Xavier community of just like your time at X. And I remember talking to you during like TBT stuff, and I felt like it meant a lot to you playing at Xavier. I can kind of tell like you're a passionate guy. Would you mind just kind of speaking on like kind of what's been sparking that lately?
It's kind of just reminiscence almost. So it's like, when you leave something and you just felt so special as a group and as an organization and institution wise, just being at Xavier and seeing where it was to where we, even Kenny, he was the guy that laid the blueprint for guys like me as bigs to come in and, kind of flourish, and guys who set the groundwork before even Kenny. So like when you come in there, it's more of a thing where you just want to kind of just leave it better than you found it, because that's the foundation of Xavier. Every guy that's come through there has have left it better than they found it. So when me and Ed go back and forth on Instagram or Twitter, just about past times, it's more of a thing like we kind of get to appreciate each other more. And, because Ed was a quiet guy at Xavier. So now that he's more outspoken and things like that, it's like, okay, cool. It's kind of cool to see him get more, vulnerable on Twitter and things like that, or X. And, so me joining in is just like, okay, cool. We get to experience those things and kind of just talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ken. You got something?
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's man, I still have dreams of like playing, and it's never like playing as a pro or anything. Like it's always like, I'm in the locker room before a Xavier game. We're about to go out on the court. Like that's always what it is. The Xavier fans, and just like that community is so crazy to think back. And that's why for me, like being able to do this podcast and be around the team, even if it's just a little bit, it makes me feel like I'm still a part of it, and it's a lot of fun. So that's really the reason why I do this.
It's awesome.
So James, is it crazy like seeing Ed as a freshman? Like you said, he was a quiet guy, and like the kind of career that he's had. Like, what's been some of the craziest things? Like, you're my age. We're both turning 33 in about a month. Is it kind of crazy now? I saw Ed at Cintas and he's like swagged out, whatever. Like, is it kind of crazy seeing how things have gone, since all that time? It's kind of crazy. It's been 10 years almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising because one thing I'll say about Edmond, he's always carried himself like a professional. He's always, just put the work in, head down, quiet, doesn't say too much. And, so what I say now, am I surprised that like he was like an NBA player and, he's had a good tenure in the NBA and carried on overseas in high level leagues and things like that? I wouldn't probably say all that, but, these are things I've told him. So these are no surprise if he hears this, but it's, just seeing his work ethic and seeing how seriously he took it, it never surprised me. But just I told Ed this the other day actually. I'm like, you're like an anomaly, man. Like you're the only person who can tear the labrum and tear the ACL in the same season and still get drafted that year and still fulfill an NBA career. It's insane what he did. It doesn't get talked about enough, honestly. But yeah, no, man. Just see where Ed is today. It doesn't surprise me, and I just couldn't be more happier for him.
I love it. Can we touch on that era? Because I love the era of teams. When I think of your guys' teams, I know what I think of. When you think of your 4-year stint and like what you think of when it comes to like Xavier culture, like what words come to mind?
Man, dude, it was I'll say this. Me and Miles Davis were the only players in our team that were able to be there for the A10 conference.
Yep.
So like, if you were there for my freshman year and you were actually there, or you seen it, and you stuck around, you know how shitty that was. Excuse my language. Am I allowed to swear on here? First of all,
yeah, good to go.
Okay, well, it was shitty, man. It was so bad, and it kind of left like a bad taste in my mouth, honestly, because we had so many good guys on the team, like Brad Redford, Travis Taylor, Isaiah Fillmore, Justin Martin, D. Davis. You know, all these guys that just, you know, who were just great teammates, and we couldn't get it done. They had to leave out their years and this on a mediocre team, and that's not who Xavier is. So just knowing you go through the bad years, you just never want to feel that again. So to answer your question, it's like once you feel those bad years and you know, like, dude, this is never, like, I can't do 4 years of this shit. I just can't.
Yeah.
And Kenny, you've been there before, where it's like, you know how those practices are when you're on losing streaks and the season's going shitty, and it's like, I can't do 4 years. I'd rather just not play basketball at this point rather than go through this. Like, seriously. So
after the Cincinnati fight.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Kenny. Sorry.
I was just saying, after the Cincinnati fight, when all of those guys were injured and we went out to Hawaii and we lost 2 bad games, and then, like, you know, we snuck one out against Hawaii, who was like the, I don't know, 310th ranked team in the country or something like that. Like, those practices are rough, man. Then we got to go play Richmond at home and we lost. Like, it was rough, man.
And that was after being, Kenny, you were number 8 in the country.
Right. I mean, we were on a roll,
and
then all that shit went down. And, you know, I mean, I say little things, that was a big thing, right? But, like, you have your core guys, and then all of a sudden 4 or 5 of them get taken away, and now you're playing with half your team. And, like, we were playing against Richmond, and I'm like, you know, I'm getting the ball in the post, and I got 3 guys guarding me because, you know, Two's not there, Cheeks isn't there, Dez isn't there. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here, man?
It's crazy. So James Farr is telling me
I feel like when I was watching those games that.
Go ahead.
You're good.
What's that?
You don't miss going to Dayton, James?
No, I was going to say, sorry for the delay, but I was going to say, to answer Kenny, I was like, I remember watching those games, and it's like, only thing I remember is Kenny and Dre Walker just out there, like, suffering the whole time. I've never seen Kenny so stressed out about it. If you know Kenny's like the greatest dude, always positive, and like, he just looked so stressed out there because it was like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough.
I love it. I think you guys have a big man kinship too. So James, did you watch any big men maybe after your time that you respected, maybe like a Tyreek Jones or anyone that kind of caught your eye as a Xavier big?
Yeah, it was there were a couple. The 3 that I can name, I would probably say Tyreek, Jack Noons, and Zach Freemantle. Those 3 right there, I mean, tough as nails, man. Like, I was actually in town for the UC, I don't know if it was the UC game, but it was when all of us were there. It was like back in 2019. It was Justin Dolman, Sato, and everyone was there almost. And I remember Tyreek. He was just, that dude is just physically, like, gifted, dude. Like, just gifted. I've never seen any, like, I play with Jalen Reynolds, and Tyreek makes Jalen Reynolds look like like a scrawny, like, kid, like, you know. So that's like, I've never seen anything like it. But those 3 right there, yeah.
I love it. And, okay, so going back, you were talking about your first year in the A10, and it kind of reminds me too of kind of your arc a little bit. I remember watching you as a freshman, and I was like, I'm just gonna be honest, like, James has some work to do. But with that being said, by the time you were a senior, your senior year was filthy. I was looking at your stats, averaging 8 rebounds a game your senior year. I think you and Jalen, no disrespect to Kenny, was maybe the best internal 1-2 punch Xavier's ever had. I think the best internal punch Xavier's ever had. Can you just maybe, like, talk about, like, the progression of, like, that time period, like playing year 1 in the A10 and then, like, Madison Square Garden, Big East, getting a 2 seed? Like, what was that like, seeing that trajectory upward?
Well, first of all, Kenny, I don't agree with him. I think you're the one that we look up to the most, you know. So I'm just going to say that right there and then. But No, but seriously, on another note, man, I don't, dude. It was such a blur, man. Like, I think Kenny, you can probably agree. Those 4 years go by so fast. You don't even like really kind of just put it all in together. Where it's like, dude, I forgot I played on a terrible team my freshman year, or we had a terrible year my freshman year, and then 3 straight years you make the tournament. But that last year, man, that was the most fun basketball I've ever had in my life. I kid you not. Like, people probably won't agree with me, but I think anyone that represents or supports Xavier will say, I swear we were going to win a national championship that year. I wholeheartedly believe that we would have won a national championship that year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was any team that could really beat us. We had our zone that 1-3-1 to a T. Our man defense. We were so stacked from our first 5 to like our first 3 guys coming off the bench. And people even forget that we had guys like a freshman in Kaiser Gates, who was like one of our best defensive players, who just was quiet as kept. This teams didn't know about him. Sean O'Mara, he was coming into his zone at the time, but he just happened to play behind me and Jalen, so he didn't get many minutes. But these guys are so good, like But that senior year, man, that was by far the best year, most fun year I've ever had playing basketball.
Yeah, it really, like, when you look back on those years where you think something special could have happened. Like, for me, it's my sophomore year when we lost to Kansas State in double overtime. That game, like, the thing that a lot of people don't remember is that the next game would have been against Butler, and Butler won the championship that year, and we were by far the best equipped team to beat Butler that year, especially with that game with the clock problems and all that stuff. Like, that would have been a heated ass game right there. And I really think that we had a chance to do it. And, like, just getting to that Final Four, it's all you think about when you're a Xavier basketball player. You're like, I want to be on the team that finally does it. And we were right there. And, like, the crazy part is when you think about Miller leaving my freshman year, if he doesn't leave, Derek Brown would have come back. And then you're looking at a team with 2 Cheeks, Jay Craw, Jamel McLean, Jason Love, me, Brad Redford. Like, bro, it would have been insane. And I'm sure I missed somebody in there, and I apologize, but, like, bro, we would have been a tough team to beat with if you add Derek Brown onto a team that we already were really good. It would have been crazy.
You guys would have been almost as good as the teams Jimmy was on.
Yeah, almost.
You know what? It's funny you said that, because I remember, like, it was like an innocent thing where I was like on Twitter. It was like years ago where I was like, man, we could have beat those guys. We could have beat Kenny and those guys' teams. I swear we could have beat them. And then people are like, Jimmy, I think you might want to slow down on that one. And I was like standing on it and everything. I was like, no, we could have beat those dudes, man. And then next thing I know, I get a call from Cheeks, and he's like, hey, yo, bro, what are you doing, man? Delete that right now. You sound crazy on Twitter, right? So, but, man, dude, I don't know.
Hey, Cheeks doesn't mince words, man. Cheeks does not mince words.
No, not at all. We talk about that all the time, man. Just matching those teams up where if you have to put an Ed versus 2, no disrespect to Ed, knows I love him, but I just don't. Where 2 was in his career at that time, and where how young Ed was. It was no brainer. It was 2.
Well, and 2 just had that ability to just, like, 2 could flip a switch and just go into God mode, and you're just everybody's just like, give him the ball, stand back, and just watch what happens. Yeah. If he needs some help him out. If not, just let him go.
Dude. Yes, absolutely.
This reminds me of something, James. If there was like one Xavier big brother who's like going to give you a call or like maybe lit you up the most, who was that?
Are you asking a big brother to me, or I'm a big brother to them?
Like a big brother to you. Like, who would give you a call maybe after a game, or who would be in your ear?
It was a few, man. Justin Martin for sure. He was one of them. Jay Mart for sure. Great guy. But
we remember Jay Mart.
Jay Mart for sure. Isaiah Fillmore, absolutely, and Trav Taylor.
That's what's up.
Dude, it's funny. It's funny for me hearing you talk about these guys, because obviously they were the young kids or like the transfers coming in when I was in the last couple of years of my career there. And like, man, I don't know if it's the same for you, maybe because we all kind of, we mature a little bit as we go from freshman to senior year. But man, I got some stories about those dudes. Nothing I would talk about on the internet. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure they'd say the same thing about me. I'm not standing on a high horse. Don't get me wrong. But man, that was one of the, and like, I talk about that with Cheeks sometimes about how like, obviously with NIL and how everything, there's so much more money around now. The players seem to be much more professional. But man, I don't know about what your team was like, but we were some wild boys, man.
I'll say this, Kenny. I'll say this. My first 2 years was the best college experience I ever had on a very, very bad team with Xavier. I'll say that much. It was a very healthy balance of college fun, but very, very bad basketball.
Yeah, there you go. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. But the last 2 years, we had younger guys come in. I had to be the one to set an example, and I didn't want to, make a reoccurring thing of and just make Xavier look bad. I wanted to actually do something while I was there. So
Yeah. No, that's great, man. That's great.
So one of my favorite Xavier games of all time, Jimmy, is Xavier at Michigan, your senior year. That game was crazy. Maybe it was that game. Maybe it was another game. What point in that season were you like, this team is something? Was it in practice, like preseason? Like, what time were you like, this team is special?
You know what? We were in a group chat. Me, JP, Trayvon, Edmond, Remy Abel, and I'm forgetting somebody, forgive me, but it was us. It was literally like a month ago we were having this conversation. That season, we started off terribly. Like, you know how you have to do the Riley and the mile test, Kenny, and all those things before, you get to the season.
Yeah.
Dude, we were like having to wake up at 6 a.m. running because guys would just miss meetings and not wake up on time. And I'm just like, this is not the way my senior year is going to go. I can't, no, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened because our preseason was terrible, like seriously terrible. So we go to Michigan, we beat them, and this is a stacked team at Michigan: Karis LeVert, Spike Albrecht, Duncan Robinson, Mo Wagner from Orlando. It's stacked, but I'm like, we're not gonna be good, and we ended up going, I think, 11-0 or 14, whatever. We went undefeated in the non-conference, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what the switch was, what happened, but we figured it out. But dude, that Michigan game, by the way, was that's when we knew we could be special, but we didn't really believe it yet. That wasn't the game that turned that season for us. That wasn't the one.
That's crazy because that was like a top 7, 8, 9 Michigan team on the road. That place was jumping Gavitt games, and y'all crushed us. Like from the word go.
Yeah.
Didn't even leave the door open. And Karis LeVert was a dog. Just cooked him, put him in a.
Oh, he gave us 30.
Yeah. Oh, he gave you 30,
yeah,
but like no one.
30.
But it was like I remember I was at the gym in the Navy watching the game, and we beat them by like 18 going away. That was crazy.
No, it was fun. Yeah, but I think the game that really turned it up for us, it wasn't even the game. I say it was the tournament. Because Mac was so heavy on winning a Thanksgiving tournament. I don't think Kenny. I don't know if you guys won a Thanksgiving tournament with Mac.
I couldn't tell you. So probably not. So
but
probably not.
I don't know what it was about this Thanksgiving tournament. He was like so locked. Mac when he's locked in, Kenny. He's like locked in. Like he's like anything you do wrong, we're doing it over and over. And like it was like okay.
Yeah.
So we end up winning the Orlando tournament for the Thanksgiving tournament, whatever it may be, and then we go to Wake Forest. And we're down 21 at halftime to Wake Forest. And we end up coming back, winning the game by like 10 or 12. And that like capped off our non-conference, like undefeated, season right there. So I'm like, okay. That's when we knew we were special right there. There wasn't the Michigan game. It was that Wake Forest game.
Okay. Yeah. I remember that game, like Ed cooked, if I think that was like Ed's breakout game.
Yeah.
And then it had to be crazy too because you guys as seniors were fantastic, great older group. But then you have these young stars, JP, Ed, Trey, kind of coming into their own. And I'm sure you guys were like, dang. Because like I remember you saying how deep that team was. I feel like JP was like 8th in the rotation. And he would come in, run that 1-3 run, be at the head of that snake. I mean, having JP as like your 6th man, 7th man, 8th man, you got Remy, Abel, Miles, like that team was just insane. Drove.
Yeah, we were decent. We were okay.
Man, it would be crazy to really sit down and talk to you at some point about what Mac was like, because I feel like he was a lot different for me in at least my first couple years than he would have been for you, because he was still proving himself, and he was just getting the job from Miller, and it's pretty widely known at this point that even publicly that we didn't exactly see eye to eye in my last couple years, or my last year in particular. And just the craziness of that, like all the behind the scenes stuff, and just me being a dumbass 21, 22-year-old, like I'll take a lot of ownership for that. But it would be interesting to sit down and talk to you about what he was like, because I know for me, man, like I knew him as an assistant coach. He was my main recruited person or whatever. And so like he was, and you have to do this, you can't just be friends with the players like the assistants are when you're a head coach, but like it was like overnight he got the job, and it was just like completely turned. He was a different person. And it's crazy.
Yeah, what I'll say to that is I was around a lot, for your senior year. That's when I was coming in on visits and stuff like that, and I was already committed. I was coming in on visits, and one thing I'll say, me and Mac never really saw eye to eye much either, but we always have respect for each other. We just didn't see eye to eye. Right. And I think after my sophomore year, after Trav, J Mart, Brad, Isaiah, after like all of those guys left that were on your teams and guys you've played with, it almost like he felt like a fresh air of relief almost, where it was like,
I can see that.
Now I get to, these are my guys I'm recruiting now. These are my guys.
Yeah.
So it definitely changed. But it kind of changed for the better and the worse, because he felt like, I think he had more pressure on himself to prove that he can recruit and he can do like whatever other coach in the country can do. So, I mean, I think Mac is an amazing coach. Don't get me wrong. He's brilliant, with the X's and O's, but only thing, and me and Mac have talked about this when I was a GA at Louisville back during the pandemic. I'll say this, and I've told him this too. I just think that during my time at Xavier, I just think you could have had a better relationship with your players, or at least made the effort to have a better relationship, to understand this, because that makes players feel more comfortable, and that makes them want to play so much harder for you. Because I think, Kenny, you can attest to this too. We didn't really play hard for our coaches. We played hard for each other, like the guys who lined up in the jerseys next to each other. And that's just all it was.
And also the, like you were talking about before, like, I'm coming off the shoulders of David West and like I'm watching these guys play, Drew Lavender, like those teams. And my freshman year, we had BJ Raymond. Like, these are big ass Xavier names, dude. Like, people are going to remember them forever. Derek Brown, like what? And that's my freshman year. And I'm coming in like playing in the Devereaux League. And I'll never forget, I went up and I tried to, I got my opportunity, caught the ball in the dunker spot, took one dribble, and I tested Derek Brown, and he pinned my shit on the backboard so hard. And I was like, oh, damn. Just like, and that Devereaux League is no joke. It's wall-to-wall people. They're all there to watch the new freshman come in and play, see what he can do. And but I mean, just like that feeling of tradition and all that stuff. And like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't play hard for Mac, but like, you're right though. It's like, it's your teammates. Like when my senior year, when we're going on that skid, I still remember sitting down, and I mean, we had it's a cliche thing, but we had a players only meeting, and we were in the hotel, and like the hotel workers are coming up to make sure everything's okay, because we were at each other's throats. Like, something's got to fucking change, or we're all gonna. This is my last year. I mean, we had a big class. You know what I mean? Like, and me and Tu ended up being the only ones that left, like, after 4 years because of injuries and red shirts and all that. But me and Tu were looking at them like, this isn't going to be my last year. Like, I've already been to 2 Sweet 16s. I'm not going to let my senior year be the year that we, be my worst year, and we turned it around and got back to the Sweet 16, playing against Baylor, lost that game, but it was a hard fought game at the end. But I mean, even in that locker room, it was a lot of big personalities. And if you weren't willing to step up and defend yourself, you were going to have a rough time. And it was, that players only meeting was pretty wild, bro. And that really is what turned the season around.
Yeah, because one thing I remember about your guys' year, that was probably the most impressive turnaround to a season I've probably ever seen. Because literally everybody in the country wrote you guys off. Literally everybody wrote you guys off. And for you guys to just even make it to the Sweet 16, I think I was talking to Cheeks, and he was telling me, like, dude, like, we weren't crying in the locker room. We were like, dude, like, this is like, look where we were and look where we got. Like, like we succeeded. Like,
For sure. But it was one of those things where just because of all the players we had in front or behind us, like all the guys that like taught us how to be a Xavier basketball player and how to be your best in March. There wasn't a guy in the locker room that at the end of the year wasn't confident walking into a game. And then on top of that, you get to play Lehigh instead of playing Duke in the second round. So that obviously helps out a lot. But the game, beating Notre Dame, we were down like 10 or something like that to Notre Dame, and you don't come back 10 points against Notre Dame. I mean, they're like, not to bring up a sore subject here, but they're like Wisconsin. You get down against Wisconsin or Notre Dame, they're going to take that into a 60-point game, and you're never going to have a chance to come back. And there was a couple crazy calls at the end of the game that brought us back in, but once we beat them, and then all of a sudden it's like we got to play Lehigh, and they had CJ McCollum, but like, I mean, we went into that game like there's not a chance in hell you guys are beating us. No. And then we go to Baylor, and we're playing at Georgia, and that was a whole. I mean, that year Baylor they started 4 guys that were 6'8" and above. I mean, it was a crazy team, bro.
Oh my God.
Quincy Quincy AC, man.
That team was. And they had, I think their smallest guy was Pierre Jackson at like 5'9" or I don't know how tall he was, but dude, he was
right. But I mean,
that team was just. Well, then James, you had the same situation, I believe, your junior year against Georgia State. RJ Hunter, that run was fun.
Yeah, man, dude. That year, because we're coming off, my sophomore year, we lost in the play-in tournament versus NC State with TJ Warren.
Which I've heard one of the worst games in Xavier history. Like, heard that vibe was just horrible.
It was just a bad team. It was bad. Guys weren't invested. It was just bad. We loved each other, but it just wasn't a good year for us. Yeah. But going to that next year, we're playing Georgia State. RJ Hunter, a lot of hype around his name, a lot. But that wasn't the game we were worried about. We were more worried about the Ole Miss game, the game before, because they had a player, Stephon Moody, who was brilliant. I think he led the league NCAA in scoring that year at like 26 or 25 points per game. I'm not sure. You have to fact check that, but he was insane. But that run, to see how locked in Matt Stainbrook really got, he doesn't really get enough credit to at Xavier. I feel like he's kind of overlooked a lot. I know people talk about me and Jalen from from the recent past, but I think Matt needs to get his flowers as well. Just the way he approached himself. This is transformation, dude. Like when he came from, I think, Western Michigan to Xavier.
I played against him at Western Michigan.
Did you really?
At Xavier, yeah.
Jesus, and he was like, dude. Matt would say he was huge. Like Matt was huge.
Yeah, he was a big boy.
He was a big dude.
Yeah. Yep. I remember I heard Mac was recruiting him. He's like, all right, no more goggles. He's like, you're gonna lose all this weight. He's like, you can't be like the hair's got to go, all that. He's like, I need these to see, coach. And he's like, all right, fine. The glasses can stay, but everything else has to go. But you're right. He was a full transformation, Jimmy. Full transformation.
Yeah,
what was he like in practice today?
What was he like in practice? He was literally the hardest dude to guard in practice. Like, because I'm young, so it's like he's playing off experience and just off pure, like, I'm just going to outsmart you. I'm not, and those are the worst players to play against. I swear they're the worst players to play against. because like, dude, I can beat you to any spot athletically, but it's like if you're just gonna outsmart me, and especially when I'm like inexperienced, it's like I'm gonna have a long night.
Yeah.
You know, and I learned a lot from Matt. I learned so much from Matt. He's like one of those dudes where it's like he'll score on you, then he'll tell you what you did wrong and why. Like, hey, man, like, you know, like, don't tell me what to do after you score on me, man. I'm already pissed off. I
actually played against him in Germany too. He was my second year in Germany. I played against him. There was a dude named what was Adam Chubb. He was like he played for Oldenburg in Germany. He had been there for like 8 years. He was like I think he had been like all Bundesliga team a couple times. He was really good. He got injured and they brought Matt in for him to like play while he was injured. And then I think Matt left after that. But man, it's so crazy the crossover between our careers and just like obviously you were only 1 year after me, so it makes sense. But like it's just wild to hear all these names again because I talk to people about the team, but you have such a different perspective on these guys because they were your old players. You know what I mean? For me, it was like I'm watching them come up. So,
yeah, exactly. We're on polar opposite sides. You know that.
Yeah, right. That's wild, man.
Absolutely.
What is when someone comes up to Coop and be like, "How's your podcast with Matt Stainbrook going?"
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to take the glasses off, man.
Yeah.
No, seriously. You know, before we go on to the next one, I do want to big up Matt because he did one of the coolest things I've ever seen someone do as Xavier. So, you know, he was like, I forgot I think he was like Ubering or something like that.
Yeah.
And he ended up giving his scholarship to his little brother, Tim, who was a walk-on on our team. And then Matt, Matt, to have that mindset as a college player. So, and we're going to say he was a kid at the time because he was a kid at the time, you know? So, like, to have that mindset, I still respect him so much for that. That's, like, one of the dopest things I've ever seen.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really that dope. Uber money must be pretty good. I know tuition's not
That's great. He was in that car all the time.
Hey, getting
surge charges, man. He got the surge charges going, dude.
Yeah, right. Taking people to Mount Adams, man. Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, this is my last question about that team. And before I do that, man, I just want to say thank you for jumping on it. And you've been such a cool dude, man. Like just being around you was so cool with TBT and one of those dudes just like no ego. You know what I mean? So thank you for jumping on and everything you've done. And appreciate I know that team meant a lot to you. But do you have like a favorite personality story? You played some characters on that team. Do you have like a favorite personality story, favorite locker room story from that team?
From my senior year?
Yeah. Ooh, I mean, you played with young JP. I can only imagine how much of a menace he was.
Let's stick to like just post game locker room stuff, not anything else.
Jalen Reynolds, dude. Like if you know Jalen Reynolds, then come on now. Like he's the funniest dude in the world. Like that dude. I don't.
What was he like?
I want to say so many things, but I'm not.
I've heard that.
I mean, I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah,
that's a tough question to answer. It's like
yeah, exactly.
We high-fived one time. It was great.
Yeah.
And you know my team in 2K?
Yeah.
They'll do like the different cards. It'll be like, all right, so and-so's a 99. I've heard that Devereaux's Jalen Reynolds is a 99 overall.
Yeah. Devereaux's Jalen Reynolds. You know what? Jalen's a player that when he doesn't really think as much, and this is no slight, it's just who he is, you know, like when he doesn't think he's his best. But the moment he starts thinking about doing something, that's when he just becomes a shell of himself. And we have to tell him, like, dude, stop thinking. Like, just stop. Just play. Like, you just tell him, like, Mac is never going to take you out the game. Like, Mac loves you, dude. Like, he's never taking you out the game.
Right.
Well, I remember, too, this brings me up to, like, the coolest Xavier game of all time. I think the best Cintas environment I've ever seen, Xavier Villanova.
Oh, yeah.
Your senior year. Because that reminds me when Jalen would just catch the ball and just go up, and he's just going to – it doesn't matter who's there. He's going to body somebody. Was that the coolest environment you've ever been a part of?
The coolest.
That was as loud as I've ever heard since.
You know what? I was never a fan of like home games. I loved away games more.
Okay.
The moment my senior year in Orlando, we played Dayton in the championship game of the tournament. And Dayton, they had like 2 planes of people just fly in. So all the stands are just wearing red. We only have like a speck of Xavier fans in there. It's like literally like a dot if you take an eagle eye view of it. We beat them by 30, and the whole place is just quiet.
Yeah. And
the whole place, and I love because look, last time I played Dayton was at Dayton, and we lost. And the last time I played at Dayton, because that was my freshman year. Then the last time I played at Dayton was in my sophomore year of the playing tournament, where they would come to the hotel room. I'm talking like they knew our hotel. They were keeping us up all night, banging on doors, just being kids, whatever, part of the environment. They come to the open practices during the playing tournament. I'm talking about they like sold out the arena just for a practice, just to like bother us. They're saying crazy things about like Dez's situation because that was the year prior to that, and it's like, dude, like come on, man, like what are we doing here? So like to get that get back and get that revenge, and this is like, hey, last time I played you guys, we beat you by 30, and there's no more rivalry. Like we don't even want to play you guys again.
We have
that's my type of environment. To set somebody up on the road is like my favorite environment ever.
So see, that's another crazy difference for me for between our careers. Like Dayton was such a huge deal, and you had it one time, like you said, your freshman year. I think we won I only won it in Dayton. Well, no, we would have played them every year there. I think we won there two times, maybe three, but like that place, I still talk about it to this day. When they would start swinging those towels, you could feel the wind on the court. Like that was crazy. And like I don't know. I don't see it anymore. I don't see it anymore for away games and stuff with like all the crazy students and the wild shit that the students are saying to the players and stuff. But just like thinking back to that, like Cheeks had gotten in a little bit of a scuffle one night and had his two front teeth knocked out. Or I don't know if it was front teeth, but he had two teeth knocked out. And we were going to play Georgia at Georgia, and they came walking out with like a big head of Cheeks, and they had a piano for his mouth. I don't even know how they knew. That was crazy. But dude, they used to like we had a walk on. That I'm not even going to say his name right now, but they had people out there like they were putting up like big screenshots of like pictures and text messages that he would send to girls. It was some crazy shit. Crazy shit.
Yeah, well, I remember there was on ESPN, Xavier at Dayton. Dayton fans made like Tu Holloway wearing a tutu. It's supposed to like upset him, and it was one of your teammates, Kenny. I don't know if it was you or Mark or whoever. Like went up after the game and said like, "Hey, can we have that?" They thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, like that was the thing though. You had to have a thick skin with that stuff. Like they're gonna know way more about you obviously than you know about them, and they have zero filter because they're in a big crowd of people. But you see that same person on the street, at 2 o'clock in the morning after going out to a bar or something. Like they're not saying a word to you. Like so, you just kind of have that in the back of your mind, like, oh yeah, that's who you are, that's who I am. Got it.
Yeah.
But dude, man, I think that's the joy of college basketball that I think has been lost today, man. Because like when that's what drives you to win on the road. That's why I love road games more than I love home games. And don't get me, I love Cintas. Like I love playing there. I love the environment that they provided because they're the best crowd in the world. I don't care what anyone says. But those road games are so like fun to me because it's like, dude, you can talk all the shit you want to, like, and it's like you have a reason to do it. It's like it's not like I'm just coming out here just talking shit just to talk. It's like no, like if I get a basket and like I like give a shoulder to someone and I like muscle him in his own crowd, it's like dude, like oh yeah, right. I'm talking shit to everybody now, like. And it's fun, man. It's all in good competition, though.
Yeah. The big one that I remember for a away game was playing against Florida. We went into Florida and beat them, and that was my freshman year, and we beat them. I can't remember what the game was like. I don't think it was exactly close, but it wasn't a blowout. And I remember hitting like a 15-foot jumper, and the whole place just like you just like feel the air go out of the place. Yeah. Everybody just sits down, and then there's a timeout. You're running out there, and it was at that time Florida. Every time that there would be a timeout and in the pregame, they would have a big Grim Reaper that would come stand right next to the opposing team's huddle. And like that Grim Reaper didn't come out for that timeout. You know what I mean? Like he just sat his ass down and stayed there.
Dude, hey, since we're on away games, funny story. I don't know if you guys know about this. So we're playing at UC my junior year. We beat them at UC. You know, Oscar Robertson sits courtside.
Okay.
So I think Jalen has a dunk or something. Jalen does something. Like we were going crazy. He looks at Oscar Robinson. He's like, he should sit the fuck down. I'm like, dude. Oh Just like telling Oscar Robinson to sit down is crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, damn statue outside the arena, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like telling Oscar Robinson to sit down is crazy.
No,
but dude, man. Like,
hey, but you get in that mode.
So
yeah, you get in that mode, and you don't know what you're going to say, especially when you already have people talking shit to you for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. But yeah, that's and in that environment too, the crosstown shootout, like you never know what's going to happen there.
Well, that's one thing that's so fun to see, and that was a cool thing about the TBT stuff. Is you see between the lines, like the stuff that gets said, but it's like you could talk to dude off the court, nicest guy in the world, but between the lines, though.
Did you guys used to play open gym with UC?
Not in the summertime. Only time we would see them my first 2 years, because Devereaux really wasn't a thing my junior and senior year. Like it kind of got quiet. Like, but my first 2 years, we would see a few of them, but like we were actually cool with those dudes. It was never like a beef or anything like that. It was just like if we saw them out, if we were all downtown one night, like we see them, we're saying what's up, we're shaking hands, whatever. But like, you know, we never really played open gym with them. Only guys we played open gym with like the NKU guys.
Okay. And they used to come every single Wednesday night, 8:00 in the summertime. It was, I mean, we were putting 5 out, they were putting 5 out, and it was we would sit there and play until midnight, and we would just beat the shit out of each other for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was every single Wednesday, but they must have stopped. They must have stopped it after the fight.
What fight?
Which would make sense.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Yeah, I think that's probably what happened because. We tried to invite some of them down, and they were like, "Yeah, we can't." I don't know if they said we can't come, but they declined for sure. Yeah. It wasn't because they were like just didn't want to come or they were scared. No, but they declined.
Kenny, petition to start Devereaux round 2, brought to you by the Roll Blob podcast.
There you go.
Did Mick Cronin ever do anything crazy during the shootout? You remember?
You talking about me?
Mick Cronin
for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, he almost tried to fight JP in the line.
Yeah. There's
I remember that. I remember seeing the
same stuff too.
Yeah. He never said anything crazy to other than he didn't say anything crazy to me or anybody else. I mean, he's funny, man. I actually like Mick Cronin for some reason. I like the way he kind of operated, you know, like. But
it just seemed like that game drove him insane. Like you would see him and his facial expression, like he is gone. He's somewhere else right now. That game drove him nuts.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like beating him because I love seeing him get that hyped up and getting angry. That kind of like drove me.
Most game he'd be like, "Oh, shootout doesn't really matter to us," and then he's just losing his fucking mind mid game. Like, okay, bro.
Yeah, like if I scored, I would like look at the bench and like laugh just to piss him off, you know. But he wouldn't really say anything after that. I wanted to get him mad for somehow because it's funny to me because he's so small and tiny. It's like I just want to see him get mad. Like,
you guys just bodied him too. That was the fun part. We had a run for a long time. We were bodying him.
I have one regret. I have one. I feel like I got robbed of 2 years of us playing at a neutral site.
I agree.
My freshman sophomore.
Yeah, good job, Kenny.
I wasn't the one on Twitter before the game, okay?
You were breaking it up.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. It wasn't Kenny's fault, man. But no, I was like, that was the worst environment, man. Because
I'd be curious to know what it's like because I've been there like a handful of times. I went to see Shane Gillis do stand up there, and I mean, as a fan, no offense to Heritage Bank Center if they're listening. Like the hallways are narrow. They have RC Cola. It's like, okay, great.
That's when you know you're in shithole.
And then it's like the scoreboard looks like it was filmed with like a 2010 like flip phone. The replays, it's like just guess what happens. And
dude,
so
let me say this. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Do you know, like in Centos, when they let the fireworks go and then they turn the lights on, it's all smoky in there? There was no fireworks in Heritage Bank. It was just dusty as shit the whole time. It was like, dude, like what? You couldn't see. Like it was so bad in there. Like it was so bad in there. I mean, the court was terrible. Locker rooms were just done for. Like
it's ugly.
But I can't imagine playing that. I can't. Did they do something like they gave the team that was supposed to be the home game like more tickets, or was it just like free for all buying tickets for the new?
I don't know what it was, but every single those 2 years we played at Heritage Bank, it was 85% UC, 15% Xavier. It was like 3/4 of the stands were all red. Like it was like every year.
So where'd you third year? Where'd you play? Was it at Xavier or at Cincy?
No, it was at Cincy my third year. Yep.
So you only got one home crosstown shootout.
Yeah, you got robbed.
Yeah, one at Cintas. Yeah, I feel like I got robbed. And we won. We beat them 3 straight years in a row. We lost my freshman year, and then we beat them 3 straight years in a row. But it's like those first that first win didn't really feel like a win. It was like I want to like be at home or I want to be on their court, whatever it may be. But it's like this isn't it right here. I hated that.
Dude, my first crosstown shootout, there was 7 technicals, and I headbutted Yancey Gates. That was at Fifth Third.
Really?
7 technicals, bro. Derek Brown. I think Derek Brown got kicked out of the game. BJ got a tech. I think I got a technical foul. There was 3 or 4 on the other side. Like it was. I mean, it was a bar fight, dude. Like we were out there going crazy, and I think we won that game because I think the only game that I lost there was my junior year, if I'm remembering right. And they beat us bad by like 26 or something at their place. But man, that game was just like there's nothing else like it. There's no other sport or other game that I've ever played anywhere that had the feeling of the crosstown shootout. Like nothing. It was so cool, man.
I tell people all the time, there's no amount of NIL money that can pay for that type of feeling or that environment. Nothing. To be a part of that. Like,
and the more money that's coming in, the less it's going, the less it feels like that.
Exactly. So it's like, dude, I tell them, like, look, great, you guys are making money, but the environment that I felt, Kenny felt,
right,
unmatched.
It's not even close. Not even close. And that's the thing, this isn't about this podcast isn't about the current team as much, but like, I'm really, really excited for Patino. Some of the guys they got coming in, I'm excited for the team this year. But you got one guy that's played in a crosstown shootout, and he didn't even play. One guy. Yeah. He was there for the game. Like, how much can they really like? You can tell them as much as you want about the history of it, but you don't have anybody. You don't have one guy in there. I mean, Dante Jackson. He's in there, and he knows about it. Mario knows about it. Like, and they can do whatever they want to like hype him up for that game, but like, having that experience of the fans and all the shit that happens before the game and during the game, how intense it is. It's just really hard to recreate that when you don't have the history for the individual players. And man, that's been a difficult thing for me to watch because I mean, even like when they lose the game, it's just like, oh, well, another game we lost, but I'm still cashing my check tomorrow. So
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It irks me a little bit, but it's like times have changed, like these are new times now, but like one thing I will like credit Mac on for those games in preparation wise was, he would always, and this is probably Mario doing this as well, where it's like he would have former guys, send like a 15-second clip of like what beating UC means.
Yep.
And then Mac would also go on to show like a movie clip. I forgot the name of the movie, but it's when a motorcycle gang runs into this like, this mafia bar and like they tell them to leave, but they don't leave. So they close the doors, lock them, and they just beat the crap.
Now you can't leave.
Now you can't leave. Exactly.
Yep. I know that.
This is what tonight's going to be a bar fight. It's literally going to be a bar brawl. Yep. Like, don't expect anything less. Don't expect anything more. It's going to be a bar brawl.
And it doesn't matter if you're first in the country or 100th in the country. That's going to be a close game. I do.
I meant to tell you, Kenny. After my year tip-off, we were talking to one of the players' parents. We were walking out, and well, first of all, we're like, "Are you guys parents of a player?" They're like, "Yeah," and told us who they were. And then this player's dad asked me and Cap like what position we play. And we're like second and third podcaster, I guess. But we were like, "Yeah, we have a podcast, Kenny Freese," and they're like, "Okay." And we brought up the fight. They're like, "Yeah, if you just want like background on it," and they're like, "Oh, actually, coach was just showing that video in practice to all the guys like a couple days ago, just to get them like familiar with that." So, I mean, maybe that'll help. Maybe
I'm not saying it's impossible. All I'm saying is, and like especially 18 to 22-year-old kids, because that's what they are. They're kids. Like that, you can affect their emotions pretty easily. So I think that you can get them up for it. But like, man, I just know for me, there was nothing like. I walked on campus. We were playing in the Devros League, and all of a sudden it's me versus Yancey, and the guy on the mic. He's just like, "Oh shit, this is what everybody came to see," and it's like standing room only, and we're sitting there. We're like 5-10 down the court. It's just like they give the ball to him, they give the ball to me, they give the ball, and we're just playing one-on-one basically with 4 other people on our team. Like we knew right away this is what it was, and you're part of the reason you were brought here is to win that game in particular. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't do well every other game, that game is important. Mm-hmm. So I just and it's great to reminisce with you about that feeling because man, it's something that you have to live through to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bragging rights. So it's like even if you have a crappy season, knowing that you got that one win, that you're still number one in your city.
Yeah.
You have something to hold on. Because like, okay, at least we got the one win that really mattered to this school and to this, to these institutions. So it's like, okay, cool. But I also think to your point you made, Kenny, about like, maybe about guys not really having that, drive or not feeling like the importance of these games and these crosstown shootouts. I think that these players they're more about protecting brands. They want to brand themselves so much and protect their NIL, which is fine. This is where we are today. But back then, we weren't really thinking about a brand. We were like, dude, just win the damn game. And it's like, by any means possible, too. Like, by any means possible, win the game. Yep. Like, there's no rules in war at this point. Like, so if guys right now want to protect their brands and thinking for the future, great. But I just don't want to see this get downplayed into something it's not meant to be downplayed at,
Yeah. But, I mean, you can also see, like, 2 years ago when Quincy Oliveri was on the team, like, he
bought into it.
Shootout, and that's kind of what gave him that brand. He started with the Cincinnati sweatshirts Kenny wears it 300 days a year. And,
right.
Like, that built his brand. So those big moments, like, even if that's, like, not the approach they're taking, like, if you hit big shots against UC, like, that's going to elevate you. You're going to be a Xavier, like, I don't know if legend's the right word, fan favorite,
I think it is. Like, I remember even the shot D. Davis hit, his senior year at UC. Like, those moments hit as a Xavier fan. So, but I think that's something that we try to do is just, like, keep that culture alive. You know what I mean? Because it's, like, it's definitely a different game in a different era. I think it's just important to remember, like, where we came from, and the things that made this program great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're before we get wrapped up here because we're sitting at almost 55 minutes. I wanted to talk to you a little bit. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your pro career because, like, that it's weird to call it a letdown, but that's kind of what it is when you go from playing at Xavier and then you go overseas and you realize like this isn't the same thing anymore. Like you're not getting the Cintas Center feel. You're not getting the training room. You're not getting the nice weight room. All that stuff's just gone, taken out from under you. Now all of a sudden, now all of a sudden, like I was looking it up. You played in Hungary. I played in Germany my first year, and I have to imagine that those are pretty similar things. But like, just I want to talk a little bit about like just that feeling because I've talked about it a little bit before, but I just want to get your perspective on it.
Yeah, no. First of all, I'm grateful that I played 9 years professionally, man. That's, I wanted to make it 10, but it just didn't work out that way. And I'm totally content with that. But to play 9 years, without facing any injuries, any surgeries, or anything like that, finished every season, I'm very blessed and I'm very fortunate, so I just want to start with that. But yeah, starting my first year overseas, man, you talk about a damn reality check and just culture shock. And dude, like your first 2 weeks, you're like, all right, I don't know. I'm ready to come home, man. Like, I don't know if this is it.
Yep.
Dude, 'cause you get so spoiled. College spoils you so much, man, especially if you play for like Division One, mid-major or high major, where you're getting certain things that you just think that comes with life at this point.
Yep.
Then you get overseas and it's like, where's Flukes at, man? I need Flukes here.
I need Flukes, man.
Why am I taking my own ankles before a game, dude? Why am I getting ice packs myself? Why am I doing?
Bro, that's crazy. I learned to tape my own ankles.
Yep.
That's wild, man. And it was never even close to as good as what Flukes could do, man.
I was like sneaking my tape off at like halftime. Like, dude, I can't keep wearing this shit. It's like hurting my foot. I did something wrong. My Achilles feel like it's going to just be snapped off at this point. It's like, dude,
start losing feeling in your toes.
Yes, because I'm like, did I tie it too tight? Like, what am I doing wrong? But it's like, man, dude. But yeah, my first year was actually pretty good. I won a championship my first year.
That's awesome.
I got import of the year. Import of the year means best American to come over of the year in the league. So I got that my rookie year, and I thought I was on a good trajectory. And then, as you know, Kenny, you play overseas. Sometimes coaches can stand in your way. Sometimes certain players can stand in your way. It's a lot of different varieties.
Your agent can stand in your way.
Exactly. So you can play your best basketball, be the best person off the court, and it's like somehow somebody's going to have a problem with you. This is just life in basketball, how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, when I tell you this, after my first year, those last 8 years was such a force for me to go over there and play basketball still. I was only playing because I felt like I had an obligation and a duty to keep playing.
Yeah.
When realistically, I was like, dude, I could have stopped playing a long time ago, and I would have been way happier. And Kenny, I'm sure you understand. And dude, I was miserable those last 8 years, man. I kid you not. I wore it well. I stayed professional, and I did have fun. Don't get me wrong, I had fun. But it's like.
Yeah.
When you go home and you're just by yourself and like you're like missing out on family time and things like that, it's like, dude, like, and you're not really fulfilled, like when you win a game overseas and you're like going back to your apartment and you got 2-a-day practice the next day, and it's like, what the hell am I doing, man? Like this isn't fulfilling me, man. So it's like, and I can say that now, I'm retired now. I did what I did and I had a decent career. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad, it was decent, but yeah. That was
it made it a little bit easier for me because my wife Emily and I got married directly after college, so she was with me the whole time. So that, like, having her there with me made my life easier, being over there because I wasn't by myself. But man, you talk about the first couple of weeks, like I was, nobody spoke English in this small little town I was at. You had to go to Stuttgart to get to the people that spoke English and all this stuff. And my teammates were great. I hung out with, I played with Reggie Redding. I don't know if you know that name. He played for Villanova. He would have been like 2 years older than me. Okay. But like he was an incredible player and he really helped me out a lot. Josh Young, Von Duggins, like it was a lot of fun. Ty Nash played for Notre Dame. We had a really good group of guys. We ended up having one of their best teams in history. I played for the Tübingen Tigers. But I remember getting there, laying down on the couch in this little ass apartment. And the only thing I could do was watch the Olympics because the Olympics was on and they had it on CNN and it was in English. And I just remember being like, I need to hear English right now. So I would just lay on the couch for hours and just watch the Olympics because it felt normal. But after that first couple of weeks, I really came into my own, started learning the cities more. And like my wife and I had a lot of fun in Europe, but man, picking up your life every, 2 times a year and taking everything you own overseas. And, it's just like, I don't know. My PlayStation got me through it. My PlayStation got me through it.
Absolutely. Dude, people don't understand how hard it is to pack 10 months of your life into 2 suitcases. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's like, you know, I didn't have my wife come. My wife came over with me in year 7 when I was in Portugal. Yeah, Portugal. I was in Portugal for my 7th year, and you know, when you have someone with you, it's obviously a big help. And I don't want to just like downplay my career to where I felt like it was always forced. Like I had great fun. I played pretty decent, but it's like something was always missing. What I mean, that's what I meant by that. So.
The Xavier fan base is what was missing. Like that's what it was.
Dude, that first 10, 12-hour bus ride, getting off the bus and having to go straight to practice for 2 hours, and then you got a game the next day, and then you have a 12-hour bus ride back. Dude, like people don't understand. Like when they think you play overseas, they think you're like on the beach in Monaco, or they think you're you know, sitting on top of the Eiffel Tower every week and having lunch. And like, no, it's not like that, dude. It's like I'm in this small countryside town of Croatia that like there's a McDonald's and there's a grocery store, and then you're on a freeway to the next town.
And the grocery store closes at 8 p.m. and it's closed on Sundays.
Absolutely, and they close at 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock every day for family lunchtime.
Did you play in the Philippines? Did I read that?
Yeah, I played in the Philippines. Yeah,
I played with a guy named his name was Arizona. I can't think of his last name, but he played for. I can't remember who he played for in college, but he played in the Philippines, and he talked about that place like it was like the greatest place in the world. Did you like the Philippines?
Loved it.
Yeah,
because that was my first time outside of Europe, so that was year 5 for me. Okay. So I came from Germany, and then I got signed to Philippines for the summer, and that was my first time out of Europe, and how they treat you is like night and day.
Yeah.
Like it's literally.
Well, there's a lot more money in that league than a lot of the European leagues, right?
And that's part of the night and day part for me.
Yeah, right. Well, no, but I mean, from the perspective of like the big team out there is like the Beermen. Is that right?
Yeah, yep. San Miguel Beermen.
Yeah, and they talk. I don't know if he played for them or what, but he was talking about how like some of his teammates, the national teammates, were driving like Ferraris and stuff, and I was like, man, what is going on over there?
Dude, kid you not, like so I played for Magnolia Hot Shots. Okay. And so when I arrived, they picked me up from the airport. They have like 30 fans, you know, with gifts. And when I say gifts, I mean like gifts. Like, dude, like bottles of wine, like expensive bottles of like, you know, like whiskey or like bourbon or something like that. I'm like, it was crazy, dude. It was like, I don't know anything about this place. I'm getting off there, and then next thing I was okay, here. So your driver's right here. You have a phone right here, 24/7. Anywhere you want to go, you call him, he'll come get you.
Wow.
They had me in a Sprinter van, you know, with my own driver. Then they take me to a hotel suite. I have this big suite, and it's like, dude, like this is not the. You know, coming from Europe, I'm living in a small 1-bedroom apartment. Maybe I'd be lucky if I got 500 square feet in my apartment. You know? Yeah. So like to go from that to this, and it was like, dude, I told myself and I love Europe, don't get me wrong, but I was like, this is what it's like over here. I don't want to go back to Europe.
Yeah. No.
Jimmy, man, it kind of hurts my heart to hear that it was like that for eight years. Hopefully there's a lot of good memories. Hopefully Xavier's a lot of good memories. But what's next, man? Like, so now we're the same age. We're 32. You're retired. You're moving on. Like, what are you passionate about now? What's excited? What's got you excited for?
Yeah. So right now, man, I'm in my master's program right now. I have 1 more year left and getting my sports administration degree. My end goal is to be an athletic director, man. That's my main goal right there. So be an AD. So
hell yeah.
That's what's up.
My main goal right there. I'm fighting for that right now, man. It's been a long fight, man.
I was gonna say that's a long road, but you know you have a leg up at least because you know you already have some of the connections and the things that you need to have to push that forward. But good luck with that, man.
Sorry, Kenny, but speaking of ADs, I was so sad when our AD left. I think he left my freshman year, the year after you graduated.
Yeah.
But
he was the best. He went to Georgia Tech. He was the best, dude. Like,
I love him, man.
Literally.
And he was on the NCAA selection committee.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm just gonna leave that right there.
Yeah, I need to email him. Like, why was Wisconsin at a 7 seed and put us at a 2 seed? Wisconsin should have never been at a 7 seed that year, by the way. So I need to ask him that question too, by the way.
Facts. Facts. Well, dude, we really appreciate you joining us, man.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Your flowers, man. Played your absolute ass off at X, man. Had one of the best trajectories I've ever seen as a Xavier player, and one of the coolest dudes off the court too. So, but we appreciate you joining, man. Appreciate the conversation for real, bro.
No, thank you guys for having me on, man. I respect you guys so much, man. Kenny, thank you for just always, laying the groundwork and setting that path for future big men like me and other guys that came after me and with me. We learned from you. We respect you so much. And Coop and Kat, man, we appreciate you guys, man, for everything you did for me and for the guys during TBT and meeting you in the last couple of years. You guys are great people, man. Never change, man. And I can't wait to see this even go further. And anything I can do to help and build this up for you guys, please don't hesitate to reach out, man.
Believe me, we won't.
Careful what you say, sir. Careful what you say.
No, I got you guys. You guys. You guys are my guys, man. I got you.
We appreciate you, bro. Ken, you got us?
All right, guys. For sure.
Stay blobbing.
Absolutely.